Right. Yes, that's good. My mom owned a catering company, so we know our spices and herbs in our family.
That's awesome. I bet you make delicious food.
We do, yes. Everybody in my family cooks very well. Although I've modified some of our traditional food to be more healthy because some of it sounds really healthy when you really look until you really look what's in it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's all about the whole food, because these days everyone just has all these crazy ingredients and everything. Even vegans, definitely vegans are not the healthiest. So people always ask, are vegans the healthiest? And I absolutely respect people who are vegan for animal rights. However, they're definitely oftentimes not the healthiest because they eat all the processed vegan meats and cheeses and those types of things. And those things, if you look at the ingredients, you're like, what?
Ah.
I don't recognize any of this.
Oh, so you're still eating chemicals, and that's exactly what you want to avoid.
Exactly. So if you eat that every once in a while, it's a lot better than eating meat and, real meat and cheese because it doesn't have all the saturated fat and the cholesterol and all that stuff, but it's still processed.
Mm-hmm.
So that is not our goal.
Right. Processed food is our enemy, actually.
Not food. Yes.
Yes. That's one of the things that if I were to have a cause and dedicate myself to a cause besides the one that I have, it would be to educate mothers to not feed their children processed foods.
Oh, yeah.
And it's sad because that's what is, how people clip coupons? Most of it's for processed foods.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I look for coupons for organic fruits and veggies,
Mm-hmm.
and actually I'm really able to save money when I do that. I mean, it's totally possible to do it on a budget. But yeah, you're right. It's so sad, and I'm really glad that there's more awareness about it. And I don't know if you've seen the newish movie that just came out, What the Health? Have you heard about it?
I've heard about it. I have not seen it, though.
It's actually on Netflix now, and I am part of a group in San Diego called Plant Diego, and we organized a screening for it. We had like 400 people there, and
wow.
It's such a powerful movie, and it talks all about what is healthy food in the public eye, because, people like my grandma, and I'm sure you can relate maybe with grandparents, they're so impacted by, the Cancer Society and different nonprofits that define what healthy food is and what is health. And unfortunately, those organizations have money interests, and so their definition of what is healthy is not always driven by our best interest. And that is what the movie exposes. It's pretty scary, actually, and it's very, very sad and upsetting. There's a lot we can do about it.
Like what?
Like vote with our dollar, and not consume, for example, processed meats. That's the World Health Organization called them class 1 carcinogen. It's just like smoking. If you have a hot dog, it is literally like smoking for your body, according to leading research. There is really no question about it anymore. So if we vote with our dollar and we use prevention, it's so much better than treating disease.
Right. Yep, I agree with you wholeheartedly. So,
yeah.
Give us a day in your life, what you eat. What goes into your breakfast bowls?
So my breakfast bowls are usually fruits and greens, and then I also put some flax seeds or any other nut and seed, just a little bit into my blender, blend that up, and make a delicious smoothie. And I'm going to share with you after we're done. I'll send you, I have a 2-week whole food plant-based meal plan that I'm sure your audience will love because it answers exactly your question. So I won't actually go into like all the recipes, but it's definitely filled with smoothie bowls for breakfast. And I usually, I usually like to eat a lot of fruit also for lunch, just whatever we have. Like right now, we're lucky enough to have donut pieces from the farmer's market, and they're so good. So I'll just eat like 10 of them for lunch. They're amazing. But if people don't like to eat a lot of fruit, they can have a big salad or anything else that's kind of light for lunch. And then for dinner, I'll usually have a cooked meal. So it can be like whole grain pasta with a delicious sauce. It can be the pizza that I told you about. It can be oil-free fries that I make, that I bake with like hummus or any sauce. It's delicious. People write to me all the time and they're like, oh, I can't do this. I have to give up so much. I'm like, are you kidding? My biggest problem is deciding what to eat. Everything is so good.
That's wonderful. You know, when I lived in California, I lived up north, and I loved that there was always fresh produce, and that's how I made the meal plan for my family, was whatever was fresh. And I worked at an aerobics room and weight room in a country club, and a lot of the people that came in there would bring me, like one guy owned an avocado ranch, and he would bring me baskets of avocados. And another one grew asparagus. His family grew asparagus. So I always had these delicious things, and it's so much harder here in the Midwest because in the wintertime, nothing is local.
You know, there's Dr. McDougall, who is a famous plant-based doctor, and he preaches a starch-based diet. So things like oats, potatoes, rice, beans, and that is awesome too. And he's healed so many people of heart disease, diabetes, reversing things that most doctors were like, go home and die, and he was able to reverse them. So for, in that case, you can totally do that. You can do oats in the morning. There's always oats with frozen fruit. You can do potatoes. You can do brown rice, quinoa, like all the grains. And then in the summer, focus more on the fresh fruits and veggies. But, I mean, it's basically comfort foods, but it's made in a healthy way,
Yes, and in the wintertime, comfort foods are the best.
Exactly. So it's perfect.
Yes. One of my favorite winter time things are roasted root vegetables. Oh, that's so good. See, I must be hungry because I'm thinking about all these foods. So
I have to try roasted carrots still. I've been seeing a lot of photos on Instagram of roasted carrots, and I really want to try that. Sounds amazing.
And it's so pretty when you do those multicolored carrots.
Yeah.
When I was little, my mom used to make glazed carrots, and they were cut up in she called them pennies because they were just sliced. And then she would drizzle just a little bit of honey on them. Oh my gosh!
You can also do maple syrup, like different sweeteners. Yeah,
that
sure,
sounds
that's delicious.
Good. Yes, and carrots
like
are so good anyway. It is. You're right. It is. But that I don't think we liked carrots, and so she started making them that way, and she'd just steam them for like a couple minutes, and then almost. You know how you deglaze a pan? That's when she used to add the honey to it.
Yeah.
So and some parsley. That was the other thing, parsley. That was wonderful.
That sounds delicious.
Yes. So, you have a blog, and what else do you do? Do you teach classes or anything?
Yeah, so I used to teach classes here in San Diego, but now I'm more focused on teaching online classes. So I have an online course called the Effortlessly Flavorful Vegan Kitchen, So the key is effortlessly, really easy, and flavorful is delicious, because most people don't think that you can have delicious, healthy food. And that is an online course. It's all online. Once you enroll, you get videos and recipes and all those types of things. And that opens probably end of August is when I'm going to open it back up. It's closed right now.
Oh, good. Well, we'll have to schedule you right before you open it back up and give everybody a link to it.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, cool.
I would love that.
Very good. So how has your diet changed? I mean, not your diet. How has your body changed since you've been vegan, and like physiologically, and do you have all those things like energy and all focus? Tell us all about that, about those changes.
Energy is a big one for sure. It's a lot easier to wake up in the morning. I still like to get my 8 hours of sleep, but I just don't really feel drowsy during the day. Like, even if I sleep 5-6 hours, I'll be a little bit tired in the morning, and then I can just work and focus all day long because I don't eat, the heavy foods that really weigh you down. And I hardly get sick. And as a kid, I used to get sick a lot because I was born in Ukraine when they had that whole explosion in Chernobyl. The radioactive plant that exploded, and a lot of people got their immune system really compromised. So I used to get really, really sick, and it definitely helps to eat this way because I get sick a lot less. And even if I do, it's like a day or two. Other than that, just feeling good overall every day. Just I feel like over time I just feel better and better. And that is really, really cool. I just see great and great changes. I also work out a lot. I lift weights, and it's really easy to do. Even on an empty stomach, I feel really energetic, and I'm able to lift more and more weights with plant-based protein. So that is really awesome too.
Interesting. And see, people wouldn't think that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that's.
But there, cool. If you watch What the Health in the movie, you'll see all these amazing plant-based athletes, and they'll tell you that it's a lot easier for them now to be successful. Like Rich Roll, he also has an amazing podcast that I love, and he is, I believe, like 52 right now, maybe. And he is an ultra marathoner, just amazing athlete that is plant-based, and only went plant-based about 10 years ago, so not his whole life, and started running ultra marathons just as, lately, like in the last few years.
Wow.
So really cool people, yeah.
That's impressive, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. I don't think I could do that. I mean, I could if I wanted to, but I don't think I want to do that. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, there's a lot of training, I would think, that would be involved in that.
Yeah, I ran a marathon a few years ago, and that was really intense. So running 100, or he does like swims, bikes, and running,
wow.
All 8 hours I think it takes.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I'd be crazy. So depleted. That's crazy. It is crazy. You took the word right out of my mouth.
Yeah. I think he just loves it, the rush of it.
Right.
And also proving that shocking thing that people say, oh, you're vegan and you do that? So it's amazing.
Uh-huh. It really is, yes. So, you know Felipe. How do you know him?
We met at a conference in LA, and we also were in the same mastermind together. He has it's called the Posture Guide, is his business, and he talks more about posture and pain in your body and that kind of stuff. And it goes really well with diet. And he's been experimenting with a vegan diet too, so he's a great guy.
Yes, I love when he's on. he's really good, and he's the one that introduced me to you. So I'm so glad. Well, my
Yeah,
son
me
lives
too.
in Long Beach.